In this video, we're going to show you how to install the wheel hub on your Subaru Legacy located behind your rear wheels. Using a thin wall 19mm socket, we're going to go ahead and loosen and remove our lug nuts here. Our particular vehicle has a locking key on it, so we're going to go ahead and remove this. Go ahead and grab that wheel, remove it, and set it aside. Now that the wheel is removed, we now want to go ahead and access the two bolts holding our caliper and bracket to the knuckle area. Now we're going to use our 14mm socket and our extension. We want to come through the back side of the knuckle to the lower bolt here on our backing plate. Now we're going to go ahead and loosen that. We are going to go ahead, loosen and remove that completely. Going to remove that bolt right there. Then we're going to move to the upper one, which is up on the back side here. Need to get to that one. Let's go ahead and get that socket in there. Now that's loose. We're going to go ahead and put our power tool on it. Now what's going to happen is when we remove that bolt, the whole caliper and bracket is going to be loose. We want to make sure that we can pull that up aside and secure that up top. We don't want to have this pulling or hanging on this flex hose. Pivot that up top. Make sure that's not going to fall. Remove that bolt. Next, we want to go ahead and remove our brake rotor. Again, work that off and set that aside. Our next step is to loosen and remove the axle nut. This is a 32mm. Make sure that the CV axle is free floating by pushing on this in. You can see that the axle is loose from the splines. For any reason, if this is binding, go ahead and spray inside here with some rust penetrant. Use a punch in the center and then work that with a hammer, smashing that a little bit to go ahead and get that to break free. Now from underneath, we now want to go ahead and remove these 4 bolts. There's 2 on this side here and 2 over here. These are 14mm. Now I'm going to use a swivel socket with an extension to go ahead and get into these here. We did spray them down with some rust penetrant. Let's go ahead and get our last bolt here. I'm going to go ahead and use my hammer, and I'm going to go ahead and bonk on the wheel hub itself to try and get this whole unit to come off. Now this is going to come off with the parking brake shoes and the backing plate. Now just be prepared to catch this. There it is. I'm going to push that axle through. Wiggle that off of the CV axle. I'm going to go ahead and use a securing strap here to go ahead and capture this. I'm going to go ahead and hang this here. That way it's not putting abnormal pressure on our parking brake cable. We're going to use our shallow 10mm socket here, loosen and remove the ABS sensor bolt. I'm going to spray down around our ABS sensor here. We now want to go ahead and grab this here and try and twist it out. Go ahead and use a pair of pliers, and I'm going to come right around the base here. And I'm going to grab it and I'm going to try and twist it. Kind of rock it around a little bit. There it is. Now I have a cart underneath here. You don't have to put the cart there. I'm just going to use that as a precautionary because I'm going to now go ahead and use my hammer, and I want to go ahead and smack the wheel hub out of our backing plate. This is our wheel hub. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some spray solvent and clean up all of the rust penetrant that we used on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up our backing plate here. I'm just making sure that there's no rust buildup where it's going to mate to the knuckle. And then right where the wheel hub comes through on the inside of this perimeter, I'm just going to do a quick cleaning on that. Let's now clean up our knuckle. I'm going to spray this down with some solvent. Then we're going to use our disc here to go ahead and clean up the surfaces. Now you can use a flat file for something like this here for the surface, and you can use a curved file for the inside here. Remember, we're not removing steel, we just need to clean the rust off. I'm going to go ahead and clean our ABS speed sensor here. I'll go ahead and insert that in. Install your 10mm bolt. I like to run it down as far as I can by hand. In this case here, it pretty much bottoms out. And then we're going to grab our socket and gently snug it down. So it's bottomed out right there. A little bit more, just make it snug. I'm going to apply some anti-seize compound here. I'm going to put a little bit on the inside. You want to be careful not to get it on your speed sensor there. And then we're going to put a little bit on the splines. You don't want globs of it, just a little bit. We're going to take your backing plate. We're going to line this up onto our hub. I'm going to take one of the bolts. I'm going to feed that through. It's going to kind of support this here. Take our wheel hub, line that up, work it onto the splines here. All right, so we have our hub set through our backing plate. We do have that one bolt on the back side. I'm going to take my socket and extension and feed that through the back side. I'm going to see if I can get that one bolt started. All right, I have one of the bolts started. I'm now going to go ahead and get one of the other ones started, probably the bottom one over here. Doesn't matter which one you get next, but you're going to continue this process. Put the bolt in, try and get it started by hand, and we'll do it for all 4 of them. Then at that point there, we can go ahead and snug them all down. So we now got all 4 of our bolts started on the back. I'm going to go ahead and snug those down gently. Let's torque down the bolts to 47 foot-pounds. And just do this for the other 2. Go ahead and install the axle nut. And we'll snug that down. I'm going to take a couple lug nuts and I'm going to thread these on. I'm going to spin them down as far as I can go. I want to take a pry bar and put it between the 2 studs that we just put the lug nuts on. I'm going to go ahead and torque this down to 177 foot-pounds. Now we can go ahead and remove the lug nuts. After we torque the axle nut, you want to go ahead and locate the little notch in the axle shaft itself. And then we're going to go ahead and dimple the edge or the lip of the nut onto that. Now I want to go ahead and apply some anti-seize compound to the face of our hub. Let's go ahead and protect that background there. You're going to take your brake rotor, line that up, and slide that on. Go ahead and take your caliper and bracket, slide that over the rotor. And once we have this in place, we're going to go ahead and install the bolts on the back side. I'm going to go ahead and take my bolt on my socket and extension, feed that through, and then I need to position that caliper bracket into place. Get that started. All right, let's go ahead and get that upper bolt started. Gonna do the same thing, get that bolt inside that socket. Feed that up and in, and then adjust this here so you feel that bolt fall in. Now I want to torque these down to 48 foot-pounds. Just going to run these down the rest of the way. Now that we have the hardware torqued, you want to go ahead and install the wheel. Hop into the vehicle, pump up the brakes, make sure that their brake caliper itself closes up nice and tight, and then you're all set to go for a road test. Go ahead and grab your wheel, line that up on the studs, and ideally you want to go ahead and get all of these started by hand, and then we'll come on back and snug them down. Let's go ahead and gently snug these down. I'm going to do this in a crisscross or a star pattern. You want to go ahead and torque down your lug nuts to 88 foot-pounds. Ideally, you want to do this in a crisscross or star pattern. And you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.